Of all the 80s film franchises that have been revived and revisited over the past few years, the one that I least expected to be as good as it is Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick totally surprised me. It was way better than I originally thought it was going to be. It's not that I thought it was going to be a bad film or that I didn't think it was going to be good or the acting wasn't going to be good or anything. It was just that I know that the original had a special place coming out in 1986. It was, set in like the summertime. It was a classic 80s film. All the 80s franchises to revisit, I didn't think that they would revisit Top Gun. Now, this film was supposed to come out in 2019, but because of COVID and other issues, they postponed it all the way until 2022, 3 years after it was supposed to come out. And I have to say, I was very, very impressed. This film is shot beautifully. There is excellent camera work. There's great practical stuff. There's exciting set pieces. Everything feels real and tangible. And the camera work adds to that by getting you a really good view at just about everything that's in a particular environment, whether it's the inside of a cockpit or a room or a hangar. They have a lot of wide shots in this film versus really close up. So even when characters are having an emotional moment, they will do a wide shot and still show you the entire environment. Speaking of emotional moments, the actors in this film do a great job and have really good chemistry. Tom Cruise, of course, is great as the Tom Cruise type character, but Miles Teller does a really good job at bouncing off of Tom Cruise. And again, when they have those emotional moments, by having those wide shots, you understand that even though these two have a very personal and connected story, they're still part of this Navy program and they still have to do their job. And so while everybody's running around getting to their jets, getting everything ready, you'll maybe have a second to share a moment like this, which feels realistic. I don't think they would have a lot of time on a military base to sit around and chit chat and go, you know what? You were like a father figure to me. You know what? You were like a son to me. Okay. And this is controversial. Hot take coming up. I think this is better than the original. This film had me in the very beginning, had a great hook, had a really great story. It moved along at a very natural, fast pace. It wasn't like artificially just moving forward really fast, and it wasn't giving you too much information that you couldn't digest. It was giving you all the information at a great normal speed, and you really got a sense of where the story was going. And even when I thought the story was going in a particular direction, and it was heading in that direction, it would throw a screw in there. There would be some kind of plot twist and it would go a different direction. The thing is, it felt natural and it felt right and it felt like a good step for the story to take, and they go that extra mile. This film is 2 hours and 17 minutes, and I'm thinking, okay, they might pad this out. It might be just too long. But about an hour and a half into it, I was like, I think they're about to wrap this up. So what's the remainder of the film going to be? And then they do this little extra, maybe 10 or 15 minute long sequence that they didn't need to do story-wise. Like story-wise, they could have done the thing that they did, because I don't want to spoil it too much. And then they could have wrapped up the film, but they didn't. They put in that extra sequence that not only got us closer to the characters and understand the relationship better, but moved the story in a direction that's also still exciting and not just shoehorned in. Like, it was really nice and exciting to see the entirety of the story played out, and I was never once bored. And this film has a great job of tone and pace. I mean, it's funny. There are some great jokes. It's really intense when it needs to be. It's emotional when it needs to be. And I mean, these guys know exactly what they wanted to do with this film. And I genuinely think that with the 3 years that they kept postponing it, they might have had time to go back in, do some post-editing or whatever, and really trim down this film, or maybe extend this film to exactly the right pace and length. And I'm serious. I can't think of anything I would cut out or extend, because all of it was so excellently executed. It is great to see some of the old cast. I'm not going to spoil who all's in this movie, but in addition to Tom Cruise, seeing some older characters return was nice. As a fan of the original, I thought it was nice to at least get callbacks to them, and the story didn't just completely leave them out. Like a lot of these more modern day twists, like Ghostbusters or some of the new Star Wars films, or hell, I'm afraid the new Indiana Jones film is going to do this, where they leave out the main character and a lot of the parts where they would be needed or you would want them to be there. And a lot of times these films takes the focus off of the old characters and instead makes the new characters the forefront of the film. And while Miles Teller has a very impactful presence in this movie, this is very much still Tom Cruise's movie. This is still his franchise. And the movie's called Maverick, and it's it's about him. It's about Tom Cruise's character. It's about Maverick. And I like that they didn't lose sight of who people actually wanted to go and see this movie for. Because Miles Teller is great. All the rest of the young cast is great. There's a bunch of people in this movie who do a really great job. I can't remember all their names right now, but they'll do a very good job. But they never take the focus off of Maverick. And you know that this is still his story, and I really, really appreciated that. And lastly, the callbacks that were callbacks to the original didn't feel shoehorned in. Again, something else that other blockbusters have tried to do. Try to put in a scene that is reminiscent of the old or the original thing, but it just feels wrong. It feels shoehorned in. It feels like it was forced. But this film, every time there's a callback, it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. It feels like the progression of the story in a natural way. And this film just did everything right. And it surprised me because of all the films that have come out that have been revisiting or revitalizing or reintroducing us to old franchises, this is the film I wouldn't have expected to be as good as it is. And yet Top Gun Maverick is so good, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Have you guys seen Top Gun Maverick? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say. Get a Pepsi ride it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.